What's going on, everybody? This your boy James from What's Your Forte, and today we're going to be bringing you a review of the Spider-Man Far From Home movie. Overall, the movie was solid. It definitely was a continuation on from Endgame. If you haven't seen Endgame, this probably ain't the review for you. I'm gonna be going into some details. There's gonna be some spoilers from Endgame that I'm gonna mention into this review. So if you haven't seen Endgame by now, you probably need to, or you might as well just wait till it come out on Blu-ray and just get it there. So let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, everybody, before I really dig into anything, I want to remind everyone that I did post it in the thumbnail, but I am going to give slight semi-spoilers in this review. I'm not going to tell you everything because the movie isn't out worldwide yet. I was able to happen to see it on the free screening. So, but I am going to give a little bit of detail, a little bit more meat, kind of so you kind of know what to expect and what you're getting into, all right? So let's get to it fully this time. So, if you're picking up, this movie picks up directly from the end of Endgame. Iron Man, of course, you've seen Endgame, you know, he's no longer part of the team. He died. And then we also have some other casualties. So, movie starts out, you see Nick and Maria, agent Nick Fury and Maria, the agents there in Mexico looking for, there's some type of disturbance. And they said the disturbance had a face. And they said the windstorm had a face, which was kind of weird, you know, and then, so they go there, and then there's a sand monster that comes out of the ground, throwing stuff, attacking stuff. They're trying to shoot them with bullets, which I don't know why. They ain't gonna do, bullets ain't gonna do anything to that, but you know, they gotta do what they can. And then then we see Mysterio come in for the first time, and they kind of just show a quick clip of that, and then they just kind of go to something else. So, next thing that pops up, it's kind of funny in the movie theaters. Everybody started laughing, and they're playing Whitney Houston, "I Will Always Love You" in the background, and they're showing a montage of Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow, and Vision. You know, all the ones that have died in the Endgame saga, or Infinity War saga, so to speak. So they're pretty much just letting you know right there that they're no longer going to be continuing on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I think that was a nice little way to say, hey, thank you for everything you've done, blah blah blah. But then when they cut from that, you realize it's Peter Parker's high school, the one that did the montage, and they have like a little comedy relief. One thing about the movie, there's a lot of comedy in the movie. Sometimes it was almost like they threw stuff in there, you know, just to try to get people to laugh, and it's kind of like, was this really necessary? But there's a lot of that in the movie, just so you know. The one thing that the school, during the commentary they have, the two students have, is that now everyone's referring to the time, the 5-year time on which everyone was disappeared, as the blip. That's what they call it. So now, I guess going on forth, anytime we talk about that time period, those 5 years where everyone was disintegrated from the end of Infinity War to Endgame, that was now going to be referred to as the blip. So just I'll let you know that. All right, so after that, you kind of see Peter interacting with Ned a lot. You know, Ned is his buddy, you know, from all the other Spider-Man movies and from Avengers. He's interacting with him a lot, and he's kind of, you know, he's feeling agent. He's feeling MJ. And, you know, anyone that follows Spider-Man or know anything about Spider-Man and MJ, you know what I mean, they pretty much end up in all the other storylines most of the time, his boyfriend, girlfriend, etc. So he's really feeling MJ. This version of MJ is played by Zendaya, and you know, he's having interactions with Ned about, you know, they're going on this school trip, they're leaving the United States, and they're having this interaction mostly about what he's going to do, he's going on the trip, etc., etc. So next, fast forward a little bit through the movie, Spider-Man, you know, he's with Aunt May. I guess he's doing fundraising and stuff now, and he goes backstage, and Happy's there. So Happy, Aunt May have a little exchange, and it was kind of funny because you kind of see Peter like looking back and forth, like, their interactions is a little different. It's a little more than just a little friendly. So they kind of throw like little hints there that maybe they're talking on the side or whatever. There, and Peter kind of picks up on it there. So Peter and Happy have a conversation, and Happy actually tells him that Nick Fury's gonna be reaching out to you, so you might want to pick up the call. Probably call you from an unknown number. And Peter was like, you know, man, look, you know, I'm about to go on this trip. You know, I'm not trying to be worried about all this stuff. I want to take the summer off, etc., etc. That's how he's feeling. You know, he needed a break. You know, he just died and came back, and then they had a fight and did all that fighting. He's been doing nothing but fighting for the last, couple movies. So he said he just wants a break. So, and then, he warns him, you don't want to ghost Nick Fury. Don't ghost Nick Fury, just don't do it. He also hands him a gift. I'm not going to tell you what the gift is because it plays a big part in the movie, so I don't want to spoil everything, but he does get something from him that is very important. So, from there, it's kind of ironic because Nick Fury, Peter's phone rings and it says unknown, and then Happy's like, that's Nick Fury. And he was like, I'm not answering the call. And he hangs up. He just pretty much declines the call, which is kind of funny. So after all that happened, Peter gets all his stuff ready for the trip, and him and his classmates are now heading over to Paris, I believe. I think it was Paris. So they're heading over to Paris. So they get there, and the hotel and whatever accommodations they got are horrible. So one thing about the two teachers that they have on this trip with them, the chaperones, they are horrible, and they showcase that a lot throughout the whole movie. So you just got to kind of be okay with it. You're kind of like, these guys are idiots. How are you going to allow anyone to have my kids travel across the world with these two idiots? And that's kind of the picture they paint of them, and they showcase that throughout the movie. So after they arrived there, they got a little free time to go around in Rome. At this time, Peter, he wants to go ahead and try to get a gift for MJ. So, this whole time throughout this whole movie, at this point, he's trying to impress MJ, trying to get her attention, but not let her know that he's like really thirsty, so to speak. And, you can kind of see the dynamic going back and forth there. After he gets the gift that he plans to get for, MJ actually ends up getting up with him, and they're looking at the scenery. And then this is all going to be our first look at one of these first monsters. Well, our second look, because we saw the sand monster in the beginning of the movie, and now we're at this other. Now it looks like there's a monster come out of the water, like he's shaped out of water. So Spider-Man's there. He gets all his friends out of the way, get them to safety, and then he doesn't want anyone to see him, so he ends up making sure they're out of the way first before he does anything, because of course he's trying to protect his identity. And then he ends up actually grabbing like a mask off one of the street counters or whatever, like a little mask. But at the same time he's trying to fight this water monster, he's not really getting anywhere with him. And then Mysterio appears. And he's using these green beams out of his hands, and he's shooting the monster. And then eventually, between both of them, Peter doesn't really help out a whole lot. He holds some buildings from falling and doing stuff like that. But Mysterio does most of the damage to the monster at this point. So Mysterio ends up being victorious, and everybody's like, "Who's this guy? Who's this guy?" So he ends up being the hero of the day. So after the monster is defeated, Peter and his classmates go back to their rooms in their hotel, and then they kind of have some dynamic there, and they have him on the news, like, who's this guy? And they name him Mysterio, because he doesn't really have a name at first. No one knows who he is, and so the TV stations and everyone else name him Mysterio, or Man of Mystery. So Peter ends up walking back the room with Ned, and then as you saw in the trailer, Ned gets hit with the tranquilizer from Nick Fury. So at this point, Nick Fury and Spider-Man finally meet, and they mentioned that they met. Well, they saw each other at the funeral, but that wasn't the appropriate time to talk. So now Nick Fury and Spider-Man, Peter Parker, are talking, and he basically saying, you got to come with me. There's some big stuff happening. We're gonna need your help. You're an Avenger now, and we're gonna need your help. So as Peter goes with Nick, they go into some kind of underground cave, and Maria's there. There's a couple other agents, and Mysterio's there. So as you saw in one of the trailers, Mysterio was talking about the multiverse, and talking about he's from Earth but not our Earth, and pretty much he was describing his Earth and how his Earth was destroyed. And they gave these monsters a name called elementals. So there's an elemental for fire, earth, wind, and fire, and water. And they're very strong, and they can absorb, and they can cause a lot of destruction. Pretty much they destroyed his world, his Earth, and he came here to stop the elementals from doing the same, because they want our Earth as well. So after Mysterio gives his explanation on the elementals, Nick's like, hey, we got to stop this next one. The next one is fire. It's the biggest and strongest one, and it can really do a lot of damage. He's like, Peter, we're going to need you to go with us to Prague and stop this thing. Peter's like, hey, man, I can't leave he's on a field trip with school, he just happened to disappear, and then Spider-Man appears. Everyone's gonna know he's Spider-Man, and his cover is blown, and so they, basically throughout this whole movie, Peter has to fight. He has these conflicting things. He really wants to be just a regular old high school student, just wants to be a regular old boy, wants to, love on MJ and tell her how he feels and just be a regular old kid. And then there's the other part of him, because he has this power, he has great responsibility. Going back to his Uncle Ben, used to tell him, with great power comes great responsibility, back to the old Spider-Man stuff. So, so he's trying to battle and trying to balance all this at the same time. Both of them are conflicting and fighting each other. So he battles that throughout the whole movie. So he has to decide who he wants to be and how he's gonna determine what he's gonna be. So Peter straight up tells Nick Fury in his face, "Hey, look, I ain't going. I'm not doing it. You got Mysterio here. He seems to be fully equipped to do this. I'm not doing it. So he can go ahead and handle it, and I'm about to go back on this field trip." So he does that, and Nick's saying, "All right, cool." So it just seemed like Nick had something up his sleeve. Like you don't say no to Nick Fury like that. So he gets back, and then his teachers tell him, "Hey, we just got a upgraded new place, new bus, we got new travel and everything." And we're like, "Where we're going? We're going to Prague." So of course Nick Fury pulls some strings, and he's got the whole field trip now going to Prague. So now you ain't got no excuse not to be part of this plan to stop this elemental, because you're gonna be in the same place where the elemental is gonna be at. So pretty much he just took over the whole situation there. So this bus ride, very interesting. It showcases a lot. It showcases kind of how Spider-Man gets his black suit, in embarrassing fashion, so I may say. But it shows where he gets that black suit from that you see in the trailer, and also he does some I want to say investigating, and goes into detail on the gift that he got from Happy that was from Tony. So not like I said, I'm not gonna really tell you what it is, but it's pretty cool gift, and it's one of the main key parts of the movie. So keep that in mind. But so he gets the gift, he messes around with it, he realizes, hey, this thing's it's pretty cool, whatever. So he can do a lot of different things. So he gets that from him, and then they get the bus ride, and they get all the way to Prague. When they get there, their teachers are telling them they got this activity, and Peter's like, we gotta keep them from being outside, because when this fire monster comes, everybody's gonna be in danger. So their main thing is keep everyone inside. They keep everyone inside by switching up one of the activities they're doing, and then Peter escapes off. At this time, MJ's like looking at him like, this guy's always disappearing. What is he really up to? So he escapes off. He's the lookout. Him and Mysterio are looking out for the monster, and the fire monster appears right on cue. So fire monster appears. He's wrecking stuff, throwing stuff, burning stuff, destroying stuff. Peter and Mysterio are fighting him a lot. They're fighting him hard. They seem to be kind of losing a little bit. As when Peter's shooting his web gun at one of the monsters, he knocks something off. It was kind of weird when you first saw the movie. He was like, "What is that?" And then it happens to land by MJ, because she was out there being nosy and almost got caught in crossfire. And whatever the object was, it landed by MJ. So then Mysterio, kind of looks at Peter while they're battling this monster, and he's like, "Man, look, I'm taking this thing out by any means necessary." And he kind of like charges up and powers up, and he was like, "Whatever happens, it was nice to meet you." Kind of like he made me think of like Vegeta's final atonement, when he powered up and then just did the full explosion blast, kind of sacrificing himself. Did it against Majin Buu, and he also did it against Topo in Dragon Ball Super Series. So kind of reminded me of him like powering up like that. He didn't go full all the way in, but it kind of reminded me like how he was saying, I'm about to go and just do whatever it takes to destroy this thing. So he powers up. You see this little green aura goes around him, and he flies straight into the Fire Beast. You can see like the big green hole inside the Fire Beast's chest, and you see this big explosion. At this point, you don't know if Mysterio's dead or what, but Spider-Man's looking around. He's like, "Where's Mysterio?" And Mysterio's laying in the middle of the battlefield. He looks beaten and battered, but he's still alive. So that was a relief there for Peter and everyone else involved. At this point, Peter and Mysterio go to celebrate, and he's talking. Peter's like talking to him like, man, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, or this isn't really what I signed up for. And you know, Beck is talking to him. Beck, Mysterio is talking to him, and he's just like, do what you want to do. Why can't you do it? He's like telling him, if you feel like you should do it, go do it. If you want to go talk to MJ, do whatever, go do it. So at this point, Spider-Man's kind of carried the Iron Man mantle since Iron Man is passed. So he kind of, so to speak, gifts Mysterio with the Iron Man mantle. He's like, look, man, you're a warrior. You've battled all kinds of stuff. You've way more seasoned in this than I am. I'm just a kid, so I'm gonna give you the Iron Man mantle, and you're gonna carry this and get it off my shoulders, so to speak. So I can just be a normal kid, because I'm not really about that life, so to speak. So so he does that, and he pieces out. Now at this point, everything up to this point didn't kind of make sense. Anyone that follows the comics knows who Mysterio is in the comics, and this doesn't really play into Mysterio. Now the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been known to switch things up from the comics, so at this point I was a little confused. My radar was up. I was like, something's not right. This just doesn't seem right. And I'm not gonna tell you exactly what happened, but if you don't know who Mysterio is in the comic books, go Google it, go look it up, go Wikipedia it, whatever, and just study who he is in the comics. And that's all I'm gonna say on that, But from this point in the movie, the whole movie changes. Movie, it's almost like a part A, part B. From the first half of the movie, it was kind of like, oh, okay, all right, it's cool. The second half of the movie was like, oh man, I don't know what they're gonna do, type of thing. So the whole plot, everything kind of just changes. Whole plot kind of just changes from this point. But so Peter leaves Mysterio, and he gets up with MJ. He's like, look, MJ, I wanna go out and just get out of the hotel and go do something. MJ's like, yeah, sure. So they go out and they're walking across the little bridge, as you see, like you saw in the trailer. And he basically like, MJ, there's something I always want to tell you, something I'm gonna give you. And she was like, like she did in the trailer, hey, you're Spider-Man, pretty much. He was like, no, he's denying it, of course, at first. She's like, no, I think you're Spider-Man. I'm pretty certain, and then they go this back and forth. And then, she was like, well, if you're not Spider-Man, what is his web blasters and material doing here in, Prague? And she throws an item at him. And he looks at the item, and this item is a key thing in the plot line of the story. So, like I said, I'm not going to tell you everything, but just know you need to pay attention to that item, and it's very important. So, that item that she throws at him, and he looks at. Then at this point, like I said, I'm not going to tell y'all that. I'm going to make y'all watch the movie for the next part of that happened after he got the item and saw exactly what it was. Like I said, I don't want to full spoiler everything, but just know there was a big turning point after that part of the movie for the rest of the movie that really shaped the rest of the movie. So from this point on in the movie, I can't really go into full detail because, like I said, I'm going to make this review semi-spoilery. I know that's not really a word, but that's the word I'm using today. So because I can't really go into it without it being spoilers or anything like that, and I don't want to do that before the movie comes out, for the kind of being like really deep spoilers. I will say the rest of the movie was full of action, and it was the better part of the movie. The first half of the movie was kind of okay, but the last half of the movie was really good. I enjoyed that, definitely. I will say that the ending, as far as the ending scenes or ending credits, there are two. Stay to the very end of the movie. If you have not watched Captain Marvel, you will not understand the last ending scene. I will say that. So all in all, I thought Spider-Man Far From Home was a solid movie. I did enjoy it. Like I stated before, first half was kind of like, I'm kind of feeling this out. Second half, I really enjoyed it. A lot of action, a lot of suspense. The ending credit scenes had you like, okay. I wonder how they're gonna continue on from this. I really would love to see the Sinister Six if they decided to go that route in future movies. Sinister Six was, I used to follow the comics and, Dr. Octopus and all, and all of them. I think that would be great if they ever did that. Or Carnage, if they ever really did a Carnage movie. They kind of hinted at the Venom movie, but who knows if they're really going to do it or not. I mean, I would love to see those type of movies. So, this is my first time doing a movie review. I hope you all liked it. If you did like it, comment down below, like the video. Let me know what you thought of it. And I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.